And so, by the grace of God, today we have somebody in our midst that is very popular with us. Most of you must have known him. You must have sung his song in your consistories. And by the grace of God, he is with us today. He's a person of no mean measure. To describe him is really difficult. To say his profile, I will have to summarize. Otherwise, his profile alone will take 1 hour of our program. But let me just do justice to that. The person I'm talking about is a music professional with 45 years of experience. He's a voice teacher. He's a composer. He's a conductor. He's an organist and music director. He's a visiting music director to various institutions and churches, dioceses, and other professional music groups across Nigeria. He is a PhD researcher in the Department of Religion and Cultural Studies, Benue State University. He is certified in Theory of Music Grade 4, Muson School of Music, Lagos. Theory of Music Grade 8, Associated Board of Royal Schools of Music, London. Fundamentals of Music Theory, University of Edinburgh. Professional music affiliations. He's a member of Music Society of Nigeria, a member of Catholic Musicians Forum of Nigeria, a member of Association of Nigerian Music Directors, and a member of Association of Nigerian Musicologists. He is also a friend of NKST Music Ministry. I'm talking of no any other person but Daniel Tekumbu Kwen. Dosu and Lawrence, please can you bring your friend to the stage so that we'll give him the microphone. And so in the next 2 hours, Daniel Kwen and his associate here will be doing us justice to this topic. He will be taking us in sight reading, tone, and diction. Most of us have problem. When we have a song sheet in our hands, we don't even know where to start unless a choir master comes to our rescue. Otherwise, that is how we look at the song sheet like that, and nothing will come out of it. Today, you will go home and not be the same type of chorister. I pray that God will give him the grace and will give us the listening ears and attention so that we will become great singers in his presence. Thank you and God bless you. Who is giving him the microphone?
Sing praises. Sing praises. Good morning, my sisters and brothers. I want to, in no mean measures, express my profound gratitude for selecting me to share with you. I feel particularly excited about it because I love music. I love doing this. So when I have the opportunity of doing it, I'm very happy. But more so is the understanding that there are people that I know who are also around and can do this better than I can do it. Yet you have decided to choose me. So I'm very grateful, and I promise that I will do my best to share with you the little bit of knowledge that I have. Thank you once again. I was given 2 topics to speak about. Can you hear me clearly? Are you sure? Can you hear me now? Is this better? Hello? So I'll be presenting 2 topics today. The first one, the title is there on the projector. Sight reading for church musicians, a practical guide. In this session, we will be looking at the practicality of sight reading. The second paper, which is coming after this one, is going to treat voice and diction. This presentation is divided into 8 different parts. I don't know, can you read this? Is it too small? Okay, it's divided into 8 sections. There's an introduction. We'll be discussing the sight reading process. Then practical techniques for sight reading. Then how to develop sight reading skills. Then the sight reading mindset. Because sight reading is a mental activity. So before you engage in sight reading, you need to prepare for it mentally. So we'll look at how to develop the sight reading mindset. Then core skills for sight reading too. And then we'll do some guided practices on sight reading. Some exercises that we will try to implement together. Then how all of that applies to church music. So these are the 8 areas that we'll be discussing today in this topic. So the first part, which is the introduction to sight reading. And I want to ask if it is possible for anybody to respond, 1 or 2 from wherever you are. What do you understand by sight reading? If you look up, you will see a music sheet there. A hand is holding the sheet. And apparently what it means is that the one holding it is looking at it. What he is doing is to sight read. But what do you understand by sight reading? This is a common term in the choir. Yes, sir. If we can have a second microphone, it will be very helpful.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. Sight reading or sight singing is the ability of someone to pick a piece of a song and sing at the first glance.
And that's very correct. That's very correct. Thank you very much. That's what sight reading is all about. It said the ability to pick a piece of music that you have never seen before in your entire life and then reading it. That is, if you are singing, you pick it, and for the first time you sight it, you are able to sing it straight. Or you pick it for the first time and you are able to play it. That is sight reading. So, if you look at this diagram, you see the human eyes looking at music. That's what you do. The music note and then singing it. That is all about sight reading. But the interesting thing is that sight reading is considered sight reading only when the piece of music is one that you have never seen, you have never sung before. Is this clear? Okay. And why is sight reading important? Especially in the context of the music we do. Sight reading is important because as musicians in the church, you know, our responsibility in the liturgy, in worship, is not to perform. It's not performance. It is to lead the congregation in worship and to perform in accordance with the guidelines of the church. I am a Catholic. My church has guidelines for music in worship. I also know that in your church, there are also guidelines regarding what to do in your music ministry and what not to do. I'm very sure about that. So, you are expected to perform this music in such a way that it will align with your liturgy. So, if you come to church on Sunday and the theme of the service is talking about Jesus healing my sight, and you bring a song that is talking about Jesus on the cross, does that relate? It doesn't. So, it means that the choir continuously has to continue to practice, to learn new songs. So on weekly basis, you have to learn new songs. Do you understand? So that you have to learn, the frequency of learning new songs is so high that you will have to apply sight reading skills. Otherwise, 1 week may not be enough for you to learn all the songs that you need within the 6 days or 5 days at most. Then sometimes the choirs meet like twice a week. And that may not be enough for you to learn the songs that are relevant to your service on Sunday. So sight reading becomes very essential, very important for the music ministry. For you to function effectively, you need to have sight reading skills. Secondly, because of the enormous work you have to do, you need to be able to cover more rehearsal time. So that if you have 2 hours twice a week, you have only 4 hours. And if it takes you 4 hours or 3 days or more to learn one song, it means you cannot even adequately learn one song within one rehearsal session. Are we together? Are you following me? So sight reading becomes very essential in also helping you to speed up your rehearsal processes. Now, the test of musical ability is also in sight reading. So if you claim to be a musician and you cannot sight read, effective music implementation, functioning in the music ministry is impossible to achieve unless you are able to sight read. That is why it is very important, especially to us who are into music ministry within the church. If you look at this diagram, we are looking at the sight reading mindset. I mentioned before that for you to engage in sight reading, you need to have a sight reading mindset. Develop your mind to be able to sight read. Even if you don't have the skills to sight read, that mindset is very important in helping you to develop the skills. And the sight reading mindset is the one that is scattered. That's the sight reading mindset. Because if you pick music sheets, except those of us who are in the choir, we are used to music sheets. It is like our life. If I'm walking on the street and I spot a music, even a torn music sheet, I am so eager to pick it up and interpret what is written there. You know, so it is, but to those who are not in the choir, what we do is so disorganized. When they pick a music sheet, it looks strange, it looks confusing, it doesn't appear like anything that a human being can comprehend. Yet it makes a lot of sense to us. So, for you to be able to sight read, you need to jumble so many things together and process them as scattered, as disorganized as they may appear. And that is why this is a good representation. This is the brain. What you see in white is the brain. And around the brain your brain must be able to process things in that manner, in that disjointed manner, in that scattered manner. So the sight reading mindset is a mindset. There are principles in sight reading. If you start learning sight reading, there are certain principles that you must learn to follow. Sitting here, I know we have organists, we have music teachers, we have choir directors, but most of us may not be able to pick a music sheet by ourselves and read it, including some of those who actually train some of the choirs. This is a very common experience around. But they struggle, they make effort, commit a lot of time to learn one hymn to come and teach. Why is this so? That happens purely because the principles of learning sight reading were not properly adopted from the onset. Did you hear what I just said? You have that difficulty because you didn't start learning it the right way. Organists have problem looking at a sheet and playing. Very many of them will transpose to one key that they learnt. Every song they will transpose to one key and play. All of these things happen because the process of learning was wrong. Today in this seminar, I'm hoping that by the end of this presentation, when we go back to start learning sight reading, because today you will not learn and know, but you will get the basic principles. And when you go back to start learning sight reading on your own, you will apply the right principles. And then you will begin to see the results. And the first principle is never stop. What singers do is that as they are playing, as they are singing, they are reading, they notice a mistake and stop. They go back. The moment you stop, you are distorted. And the flow of the music rhythmically is also lost. So the fundamental rule, principle in learning sight reading is never stop. If you make a mistake, proceed with the ones that you are able to the end. Then when you reach the end, come back and look at it again and try to internalize those areas you missed. And when you start again, don't stop. Number two, the same thing, train to keep going. To keep going, don't ever stop. Principle number two, maintain a steady pulse. A steady pulse is essential for sight reading because it provides a framework that allows other elements to function without. Now, without it, everything will collapse. What is the pulse? The rhythmic pattern of the music, the rhythm of the music. So rhythm is a fundamental rock on which music stands. Without it, it is completely without a foundation. So focus on keeping the beat consistent, even when you miss notes. Principle number three, look ahead. And this is very important. And this is partly why people who have been reading for years cannot pick a song that they are singing for the first time and read it straight and sing it. If you are carrying a music score and you are singing it here, your eyes should be reading here. Reading a music sheet is like reading a book. When you carry a book to read, you don't read the very words that you are pronouncing, because if you do so, you cannot flow swiftly. So what you do, from the nursery schools, we were trained to understand that speed reading is by looking ahead. So you don't You don't set eyes on what you are singing. As you are singing, first you look at the score, internalize it, and then you start reading ahead. And then by the time your eyes get here, you have heard those notes in your mind, and then you start singing. As you get here, you are reading here. As you are singing here, you are reading somewhere here. That's the principle. Principle number 3, look ahead. Are we together? I am just explaining, but you can be listening and also read on the screen if you want, if you can read. For example, I'm sure many of you here ride bicycles, or you even drive. There are a lot of drivers here, bicycle, bikes. When you ride a bicycle, you don't look down. You don't look where you are. You usually look ahead. So you look ahead. If there are potholes, you see them, you gauge them. By the time you get to those potholes, your eyes are no longer looking there. When you drive, it is impossible for you to even see down deeply at the point where you are. So you read ahead, you calculate, you get, and you get there. By the time you get there, you are only navigating based on what you have registered in your head. That is exactly how it happens. And that's why if you look at this diagram, like a music sheet, the man is here. But look at where he's looking. Not here. Can you see that? This one is looking right here. If you do this, you will not be able to sight read. The sight reading mindset is the one that does this. So you can see its application in the music sheet. So as you are here, you are reading, your eyes are looking up to that level, not where you are singing. Is this clear? Principle number 4, think in patterns. This is the one that is the greatest problem. If there's another mic, you have thinking in patterns is the greatest of all the problems. If you carry a music sheet, what most people try to do, people who have not trained in sight reading, do is they pick a music sheet and they are reading it note by note. They want to read the notes. Each note, they want to identify every note, and read it. That is not how to do sight reading. You identify notes, quite correct, when you are learning music notation. You learn note by note. But when you start reading music, you don't read note by note. When you study language like English, what was the first thing you learned in the study of English language? Who can tell me? The alphabet. Every language, you start by learning the alphabet. Because it is the alphabet, the letters of the alphabet that are combined to form words, to form sound. And then the language begins to progress. The same thing applies to music. Music is a language. So the music letters, the A, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, are what is usually added together, combined to process and form into sound and songs. But when you start reading English and you carry book and start reading, you no longer read letters. The individual letters. If you see a word, for example, principle 4, think in patterns. You are not reading P-A-T-T-E-R-N-S. At a glance, you just cite this word and you read it. Are we together? You no longer go back reading letter by letter again. You read more of the words separately. And then sometimes when you begin to read swiftly, smoothly, and you progress, you can then look at all of this as a structure. Your eyes are looking at this straight and no longer individual letters and no longer individual words. Are we together? Think about it. You don't read letters when you are reading a book. It is the words and the combination of words, phrases, clauses. That is how it is with sight reading. So you read in patterns. Don't read do, re, mi, fa like this. Read all of this as one pattern. Look at all at once. And then you just read it. Why do you have to do that? It also reduces mental effort. What you are going to process becomes less when you don't focus on individual letters or individual notes. For example, look at the music score, this piece of music here. This is just a one measure music sheet. If you try to sing, if you try to sing this as it's written by singing this note and identifying this note, because if you take this, for example, to be treble clef, then this note is going to be G. So if this is G, you are not going to identify this as do, re, do, ti. You're not identifying the individual notes. Look at all of this as a pattern. That's how you train to sight read. By the time you glance it, you just read it based on the intervals between the notes. You know that the distance between this and this is a third. Between this and this is a second. Like that. So you just, as you sight it, you just read it. It just comes unconsciously. But you need to practice it over time. But the principle is read in patterns, think in patterns, not individual notes. Take note of that. The same thing applies. A reverse of the same progression. This one, the other one went to the right hand, and this came to the left hand. It has switched over. The same melody has now gone to the left hand. Again, you have to see it in patterns. How many of you can read staff notation? When I was assigned to do this, I told the man, Mike K, that I told Mike K that I don't know how I will teach sight reading using software. He said I should try. So I was able to try. So I built it along software. But because music draws its basis from staff, you are seeing staff notations here, just for illustration and how that progresses into software notation. So if you can't read this, but attempt to read it, let's see. If you can strike key C. Please play piano, tune it to piano. Just piano, precisely. Okay, so if there are people here who can try, let's try to run this line and see. Oh, that's a note. So can we try it? Go. No, don't pronounce. When you are reading staff, it is entirely a different kind of music notation. Software shouldn't come to your mind at all. It's completely blank. So you can say la, 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 la. Okay, so try it. Let's hear. Is that key C? La. Okay, let's try it. Go, everybody, if you can, go. La, la. Okay, fine. Can we try this line? Tan 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 tan. That's what is written here. And I'm not reading this note by note. I look at the pattern, and then you register in patterns. That's how you do it. Let's look at the software representation of that same. Sorry, let's progress. The third part is the sight reading process. If you want to start sight reading, if you carry a sheet of music and you want to sight read it, what are you expected to do before you start singing it? You don't just carry it and then you start singing. You need to do certain things. And that is what we'll be looking at in the sight reading process. The first one is quick scan. When you carry a piece of music, take at least 10 to 30 seconds to scan the music through. Look at it from beginning to the end. What are those things that you're looking out for? Number one, the key signature. What key is this music situated? So try to identify the key, and it helps you to identify your tonic, your starting note. Then time signature. What is the pattern? What is the movement of the music? Is it moving in the count of pam 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 pam, or pam 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 pam, or pam 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 pam? All of these you have to determine. You have to look at the time signature. Then identify your starting note. Which note on which you are starting? Is it oh, 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 oh? Which one? You must identify it. And then the last thing you need to do is to look at the patterns in the music. Like the one I showed. You can see the patterns are very clear. Tan, 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 tan. So you register that in your head as the pattern. The next pattern is la, 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 la. You register again. Then you look at all the patterns and sometimes you realize that they are just repeated. So it becomes easy for you. You can then ignore that clef, that particular staff entirely, and focus your attention on reading the other ones. Step 2. Establish the pulse. We talked about this earlier. Feel the tempo. And feeling this tempo, you feel it internally in your mind. Feel it in your mind. This is rhythmic representation. How can you interpret this tempo that is here? This rhythm. Pam 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 pam. So the rhythm is constant in every song, except there is indication somewhere to change rhythm. It is constant from the beginning. So you must also internalize it, feel it in your head, mentally in the mind, before you attempt to sing the song. Step 3, read in groups. We talked about that before. So look at this now. Don't read this as do, so, ti, la. Don't read like that. If you focus to look at this and identify as do, then go to the next one, identify as so, you will not be able to progress swiftly. You'll be processing slowly. Your head will be working too much. Your mind will be working. You'll be doing the wrong thing. You won't progress. So just look at this as a pattern. You can see that the thing rises by step to the 5th and the 3rd and comes down and goes like that. And then quickly, based on your knowledge of intervals, if you are reading the staff, you begin to apply. But for sofa, it's a different ball game. And we are going to get to that point where we'll treat the sofa scale in this very conversation. So can we run this together? Now looking at this, these notes are notes of the same value. Are we together? So if you are to establish the reading pattern in your mind, it means they are going to be equal beats, equal value, isn't it? So based on that, because this is not punctuated in terms of reading. Okay, so let's sing together. Do, do, together, go. Okay, the keys are a bit high. Do, do, so. Okay, let's try together, go. Now, the moment you already establish the pattern, the grouping of the notes in your head, it becomes easier for you to progress. Now, looking at it, establishing that, you realize that, oh, these notes are the same value. So you don't even need to worry your head as to which one is half, which one is 1.5, which one has 2 counts. Do you understand? So you must process all of this. And the fourth step is to perform without stopping. I mentioned that earlier. So I'm going to skip it because it's the same thing. So part 4 of the presentation deals with course keys for sight reading. That's what I'm getting at. Course keys for sight reading. The first skill that you need in sight reading is internal recognition. And for music theory, this is about the most important skill that you need in sight reading. Again, we are going back to the mind. The mind. Remember that diagram that I showed, the mind. Everything about music, without singing, even the sound, the tones you sing, they are actually processed in the mind. The mind think about them before you are able to produce them. And that's why people who don't focus their mind well cannot do music very well. When people are tone deaf, I sound oh, and then they sing oh, and then I go back to sing that oh, and then they say oh. It is a product of a mind. Music is all about the mind. So instead of identifying notes individually, try to recognize, for example, the distance between the notes. What is the distance between do and so? Can anybody answer? What's the distance between do and so? Okay, let's count. Do, re, mi, fa, so. How many? So the distance, if you jump re, mi, and fa, and you move from do to so, what happens? It means you are singing a distance of what? Of a fifth. That's fine. So, when you understand the distance between notes, it becomes easier for you to sight read. Without knowing the distance between notes, you can't sight read. What is the distance between do and do? Do, do. What's the distance? 8. You must know this if you want to sight read. What's the distance between do and re? 2. Yes. What's the distance between do and mi? 1/3. What of do and fa? What of do and la? Do and la? 6th. What of do and ti? 7th. Okay, what of ti and so? 3. Okay, what of so and mi? It's still 3. So, fa, mi, 3. Isn't it? What's the distance between so and re? So, fa, mi, re. What's the distance between so and ti? Pardon? Okay. So, fa, mi, re, do, ti, 6. This is how you determine intervals using so fa. Are we together? So that by the time you know intervals, they become a part of you. By the time you cite a piece of music, you don't need to come and start reading every individual note. As you just see it, the mind goes there. Unconsciously, spontaneously you go. So let's look at interval exercises. Can we try this together? Sound kisi. Okay, so let's move. So now, with the principles we talked about, scan this music. Look at the rhythmic pattern. There are 2 different types of notes, isn't it? Notes that have 1-1-1 beat and notes that have 2 beats. So here to here they have 1 beat. Here to here 1 beat. Here to here 2 beat. So look at all of that as a pattern. So in your mind you have already visualized that you are moving 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 1, 2. It becomes easier for you to start reading. So let's take do together, everybody. Now la to it. La 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 together. Go. La. That's going up. It's 1 step above la so. If you are on so and you go 1 step higher, what is the note? Precisely. I told you you must know intervals between notes. Is this clear? Okay, take it again 1 more time to the end. Go. And this note now is 4 counts. Okay, so let's see what happens to this same music now in solfa. Now let's go again. The difference between staff and solfa is that for staff notation, the pitches are so arranged here, so it is easier for you to just see them and see their height, their pitch. But for solfa, you must study, you must learn over time and internalize the scale, and know how each note on the scale sounds in relation to the other. So it is more difficult to pick a piece of music on solfa and sing than it is to pick a piece of music on staff and sing. Staff is quite easy and straight. But solfa is not useless. It's very important because it helps you in aural development. Most people who do music on staff alone, most of the time are not able to sing when there is no music sheet. But if you are doing music on solfa, you are used to tones. You are more in tune with tones than those who are on staff. That's just the difference. So the same thing you did now. Now pronounce it now. Do, re, mi. So let's sing it together. Go. This part is divided into A and B. Part B is treating reading. These are terms that we commonly use in the choir. What is reading? What do you understand by reading? I know you know. Okay. Music has 4 elements. The first element is that sound, the sound that you hear. What gives you the consciousness that what you're listening to is music is first the sound you hear. Then there is a movement, a pattern of movement of that sound. That movement of that sound is what is called, of music, is what is referred to as reading. Are we together? So we were going to do some reading exercises quickly. This time you are for this one, you are looking at the notes, just as you did the last time, singing it in harmony, observing the rhythmic pattern as written. Give us E flat. Oh, so wherever you're sitting, whatever part you sing, you are going to, can you read this? Okay, so you're going to sing your own voice as written here. Pam, pam, pam. So let's sing it together. Go. So. I want to hear everybody together. Go. You can see up there too. Okay. Now you've got the rhythm rightly, but rhythm has so many characteristics. One of them is speed. That's tempo. You have to maintain the tempo of a song when you start. So now, as you sing, look at me and keep the tempo. All eyes up, go. So at all times, you must bear in mind that music elements are the building blocks of music. Without them, music will not exist. And one is tone, one is rhythm, which is the movement of rhythm, of tone. The problem is, in sight reading, all of these elements must be carried along together. Rhythm is one element that most singers neglect. They don't take it very serious. We are going to look more into rhythm as we progress. In unison, let's hear this one. Strike key G. Go. Now, let us browse the music. Look at the time signature. 6/8, isn't it? In this conversation, you are going to understand the implication of 6/8 time on a song as we progress. So, the way you are going to read the song now in terms of rhythm will be different from the way you read this one that is 2/4. Okay, so now the beats are going to be a bit, give a sense of speed, so as if they are faster. Pam, 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 pam. That's the rhythm. So strike G together. From here, go. Pam, 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 pam. Everybody sing it again, go. You can look up there too, go. Most choirs around don't have a good sense of rhythm. That's a greater problem. They are singing and you ask them to sing softly because they are shouting. And then they not only sing softly, but slowly as well. It means there is a lack of understanding of music elements. Sight reading is impossible to achieve if you don't understand music elements. So, this leads us to the rudiments of music, where we are going to treat all these things. And for this conversation, we are going to focus on notation, music notation, rhythm, pitch, and scales. So, the rudiments of music are the fundamental elements of music theory as relates to music notation, rhythm, pitch, and scales, and the keys. And they form the foundation for reading, writing, and performing music. So let's look at it in terms of solfa. Music notation is a visual system of symbols used to write down music, allowing performers to read, play, and remember pitch, rhythm, tempo, and dynamics. All of these are written in music notation. So, reading. What are the functions of reading? First, reading gives movement to music. Take, for example, strike A flat. To God be the glory, great things he has done. These tones that I'm sounding them in a particular movement. There is sound, then there is movement. Usually rhythm is obscure. You don't hear it. You only feel it. Now, the movement is in 3/4 pattern in a count of 3. So let's sing the song together in unison. A flat again, please. To God be the, together everybody, go. To God be the glory, great things he has done. Go to the chorus, go. Praise the Lord, let the earth hear his voice. Okay, if I decide to change the rhythmic pattern of this song, for example, I ask you to sing it now in 4/4 time. Together, go. To be the glory, great things he has done. Automatically, even though you are sounding the same tones, the music changes. That's the impact of reading. And sight reading requires you to understand reading effectively. So reading gives movement. 2, it gives music structure. The organization of ideas of music is determined by reading. It also gives music energy. Onward Christian soldiers marching us to war. That rhythmic pattern, the song is lively, not in the tones, not in the sound. It is the rhythm that made it so. Then it helps you to distinguish one piece of music from another. For example, we have 2 versions of To God Be the Glory just now. Are we together? Okay. Characteristics of rhythm. 1, the beat. We all know what a beat is. The regular pulse. Once music starts, it doesn't change. If you start with your beat pattern, speed is, again, it will not change, it will remain constant. The next one is accent. Accent is the emphasis that is given on one beat that makes it look like it is stronger. For example, if you, let us take this screen now to be a music sheet. A music sheet with 2 bars, 2 measures. And the time signature is 4 counts. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4 per measure, and 1, 2, 3, 4 for the second measure. As you count 4 in the cycles of 4, as you are counting, there's a feeling. Each time you are beginning a fresh count of 4, there's a feeling you get. You feel as if that first one is stronger than 2, 3, and 4. Let's count together. 1, 2, 3. Together, go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Try to do as if you're conducting. Each time you are striking down, there's this feeling as if that first one is stronger, isn't it? That point where that feeling occurs is what is called the accent. That feeling is the accent, and the point where that feeling occurs is the accented point in music. Usually, the accent is the very first beat in every bar. Sometimes composers may trickily want to make adjustment to add color. So they syncopate and change the accented point. Then meter. We know meter is a grouping, of music into measures. We call them bars. You can call them bars. But the distance from one bar line to another is the bar. I'm sure we know all of that. I've been told that I don't have time again. That's why I'm rushing. The next one is tempo, the speed. So tempo determines the speed of music. The characteristics of rhythm simply refers to the possible ways in which rhythm can be expressed. So you can only express rhythm in terms of beat, accent, meter, or tempo. So let's look at it in a practical sense now. Don't bother much about these names. We'll deal with this and the rest of it. But this note is a music note that has 4 beats as a value. Anywhere you see it, if you sound it, you are sounding it for a count of 4. Are we together? Are we together? So music notes, remember I said we are dealing with notation, rhythm. So music notes, in contemporary music there are 6 music notes. Each of them is determined by the value it has. Whenever you see it, you know that this one has 2 counts, 2 beats. So if you are singing it, you sing it for 2 beats only. So the very first one, which is semi-brave, has 4 beats. The value is 4 beats. So if you are expressing it in sofa, and you see a semi-brave anywhere, if you see this kind of representation in music in sofa, it means it is representing a semi-brave. There's a reason why I am bringing this note here. When we go to the second value of notes, shortly after this one, you understand. So you have 4 counts. So if this sound note is do, let's sound it together. Go. How many beats did you apply? 4. So you need to understand rhythm, to understand note value, to be able to sight read. The next note is called meaning. It has 2 counts. In terms of solfa, it is half the value of the first one. So let's try this one. Do together again. Go. No, 2 count. This is the reading. Go back to the first one. Go. Good. Go to the second one now. The 2 counts. Go. I want to hear the sound cut off at this point. Cut off the sound at this point. Let's go again. The second one. I see here some people rendering it as if they are rendering this one. Do. Now, let me give you the practical expression of a beat. A beat is expressed by your hand going down and up. Do. This is a full beat. If you sing do, it is not a full beat. Do. So, for this one now, this is the first beat. Do, oh. And if you are rendering it, because it is one note, then it will be oh. If you come to the second one, it should be oh, not oh. As some of you are singing. Now let's run this together again. Together, go. Oh. Okay. The third one, the crochet, which has 1 beat. So let's go. Go. Good. And this is how they are indicated, are represented in solfa. So let's go to the next one, which has a value of half. Together. Remember that when your hand goes down and up, you cycle a full beat. So if you have half beats, as your hand goes down, you sound the first half of a beat. As your hand comes up, you sound the second half of the beat. Hello? Are you with me? Okay, so it means this is the first half of the beat that you sound when your hand goes down. This is the second half you sound when your hand comes up. As you are doing here and here and here. You are going to do that now. As your hand goes down, you sound one. As your hand comes up, you sound the second part of the note. So it becomes what? Together, go. Good. Take it again. Okay, so the next one, which has the value of quarter. So let's run it together. So this one, as your hand goes down, you see the dot? This dot is what divides beat into half. In solfa, a dot divides beat into equal half. So this is a dot, this is a dot. Here you have one note per the first half, one note for the second half. Here you have two notes for the first half and two notes for the second half. Are we there? What it means is that as your hand goes down for the first half, you are sounding two. Do do. As your hand is coming up, you are sounding two again. So this becomes what? Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. So let's run the quarter value. Go. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Can we make it faster? Do 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 do. Let's take it again. Go. Do 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 do. Let's take it together. Go. Do 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 do. That's how you read it. So you usually you do all of these things when you are looking at the score. You look at the patterns, identify them before you start singing the song. Now, this is the most important part. Music notes have two sets of values. And I want you to pay attention to this because it's a very technical aspect. Time signature is a very technical aspect of music. But it's not complex. I titled this music notation and I said in bracket, notes and their values in beats. We are referring to these values, all that we have treated here, we are treating them in beats based on how many a note can carry. So the value of notes in beat refers to the capacity of the note. Can this note carry 10 beats? Can this note carry 2 beats? Okay, this note has a capacity to carry only 2 beats. This one has capacity to carry 4. This one has capacity to carry only 1 beat. This refers to the value of notes in beats. The next thing we are looking at before we go to the value of notes, the second value of notes, is the dotted. Notes can be dotted. When a note is dotted, the dot increases the value of a note by half of its original value. So that note here, this note that is 2 beats will become 3 beats when it is dotted. Its value will increase by half of its original value. What is the original value of this note? 2, isn't it? So if its value is to increase by half of its original value, what will be the value of the increase, the increment? 1. If you add 1 to 2, how many beats will that note carry now? So a dotted note, the value of a dotted note increases by half of its original value. So those same notes, the one that was 2 count becomes 3 when dotted. The one that was 4 beats will become 6 beats, isn't it? When dotted. Now, note value in bars. And I want you to pay attention to this. Hello? Sing praises. Note value in bars. The value of note in bars simply refers to how many, let me put it this way, how many of that note can go into one bar. Now, we first looked at the value of notes in beats. What did we treat? We said the value of note in beat refers to the capacity of that beat, the value in terms of how many beats it can carry. Now, drawing from the value of a note in beats, we are looking at the value of notes now in bars. And this simply refers to the amount, the number of a particular type of note that can fit into one bar. For example, if we have a time signature that is 4 beats, how many of these notes will go into one bar? How many? Correct. Look at it again. We treated this note. This same note, and we said it has how many beats? 4 beats, isn't it? So if we have a piece of music where the time signature says 4 beats per bar, and you are to make use of this note, how many of them will you put in one bar? 1. Good. And that is why it has 1 representing it in music. So when you see this 1, it refers to the value of the notes in bars. So if we are using, so let's take that from here to here is 1 measure, 1 full bar. So this note has fitted into this 1 bar of 4 beats, isn't it? How many count is this note? How many? So how many of them will fit into a bar of 4 beats? 2. And that is why musically, figure 2 represents this note. So the next one is how many counts? 1, isn't it? So how many of each kind can go into a bar of 4? So it has figure 4 representing it. I want you to pay attention. So for the next note, how many of it? This is half. So how many of each kind will go into a bar of 4 beats? And that's why 8 represents that note. So the next one, how many? It's 1/8, 1/8. How many of them will go into one bar of 4 beats? 16. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 4, 8, 6. We can even have it. There's a note that is represented by 32. These are the figures that are used as the lower figures at the time signature. Are you following me? It is these figures that are used as a time signature has 2 fractional figures, isn't it? 1 on top of the other. 3, 4, isn't it? The upper figure tells the number of beats. The lower figure tells the note that is represented. And that value is derived from its value in bars. So you can have a time signature that is 4-1. You can have a time signature that is 4-2, 4-4, 4-8, 4-16. But you can't have a time signature that is 4-6. The lower figures are represented only by 1, 2, 4, 8, 16, or 32. Is this clear? And what is the implication in interpretation of music? We'll look at that. So time signature. Are you following the progression we are built into time signature? Okay. You know what time signature is? Those fractional figures that are written at the beginning of a piece of music, and they indicate, they are used by these same numbers. So 1 you can have a time signature that is 1, 2, 1, 3, 1, 4, 1, or 6, 1. In fact, you can have the upper figure can be anything at all. It's possible. But the lower figure must be one of these ones that were identified, derived from the value of notes in bars. And what that means is that a time signature that is 4-1 is simply saying is 4 crotchets, 4 semi-brave. That's a note that has 4 count. Because you can simply delete this one and put a semi-brave there and you will still be correct. So we are saying 2 semi-brave beats per bar. But this is not a very common time that is used in music. The next one is on the basis of the meaning, which is 2. So you see 3, 2, 2, 3, 2, 4, 2, 6, 2. All of them are possible. The next one is the crotchet, which is represented by 4. So you can have 2, 4, 3, 4, 4, 4, 6, 4, 9, 4, 7, 4 if you want. Then the one represented by the quiver, which is the quarter. You have 2, 8, 3, 8, like that. Why are we treating this? Remember, I mentioned earlier, music has elements, and they are the building blocks of music. Without them, music cannot stand. Without one, it cannot stand. It must be a combination of all the elements. The one that is always conspicuous, that we can easily hear and feel it, is sound, the tone. Isn't it? That's what draws us to consciousness that we are listening to music. But then there's another very important element, the rhythm, which is usually obscure, which defines music and gives it life and power. You cannot sight read on the basis of sound alone. Are we together? You cannot sight read on sound alone, because the sound has to be defined. If I take "When we walk with the Lord," when we walk with the Lord, I decide to sing "When we walk with the Lord in the light of His word." I'm sounding sound, tones, without a definite rhythm. The music will be without a pattern. So the composer clearly indicated a pattern of how it should be expressed, how the tones should be expressed in terms of rhythm. When we walk with the Lord in the light of His word, it becomes sensible and clearly that music that you know. So we cannot do sight reading without the tones. We can't do sight reading without rhythm. Types of time signature. Maybe I should skip this. Should I skip this? Because I think my time should be very short now. Okay, so types of time signature. Basically, there are 2 types of time signature. Simple and compound time. Simple and compound time. And very quickly, any time signature that you see with figure 2, 3, or 4 on top is a simple time. That's the easiest way to understand them. Any time signature you see that the upper figure is 2, 3, or 4 is a simple time. The lower, any time signature you see, the lower figure can be anything. It can be 4, 8. It can be 4, 2. It can be 4, 16. As long as the upper figure is 2, 3, or 4, it is a simple time. When you see the upper figure, 6, 9, or 12, it is compound time. 6, 9, or 12 is compound time. I will leave you to read the rest of it. Now, every time signature again is classified, both compound and simple meter. They are classified into 3 types: duple, triple, and quadruple. So you have duple time, and what it simply means is there is a time that is represented by 2. That those notes can be broken into 2. Or triple, they can be subdivided into 3. Or quadruple, they can be subdivided into 4. So this time signature we have here, 2, 4 is duple time. It's simple duple. 3, 4 is simple duple. 4, 4 is also, simple triple. And 4, 4 is simple quadruple. Quadruple is 4, triple is 3, and duple is 2. For compound, 6 is compound duple. You can divide them into 2 groups of 3. 9 is compound triple, and 12 is compound quadruple. People have asked the questions. So it therefore means that you can conduct 9/8 or 6/8 as if it were 3/4. No, you can't. And for the singular reason that you need 6 beats in a measure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, as against 3. If it were, in the case of this, you have 1, 2, 3. So the accent is going to occur here. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. But if you apply the pattern of the 3, 4 time to 6 time, you are going to have 2 accents. You can't have 2 accents in one measure. So you're going to have 1, 2, 3 at first accent, and you are going to have another accent. So one measure should not have more than 1 accented point. So you can't apply. It has to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then you start a fresh one. So let's look at this. Remember I said for sight reading to take place, there has to be a combination of reading and tones. Now we are looking at reading. So look up here. We are going to tap this rhythm together. I have written sulfur notes on top of each of these. You can see them. So drawing from the notation we just treated. So let's run this together. So because it is rhythm, only one note is being used. We are not looking at the different tones yet. We are dealing with one element. Okay, so together, you can say do or whatever you want. Together, go. Do. I want to hear everybody. Can you see this? Can you see this? So I want you to read, to sing it. Go. That's rhythm. Or if you want, let's clap the rhythm. If you don't want to sing, let's clap the rhythm together. Go. Okay, let's try it again together. We are clapping together. Okay, go from beginning. Go. 1, 2. As you are clapping, as you are tapping this rhythm, you are counting. The time signature is 4 per measure. So as you are clapping the rhythm, you are counting 1, 2, 3, 4 for every measure. 1, 2, 3, 4 for every measure. 1, 2, 3, 4. Are we together? Okay. Something has shifted there. Okay, so let's go together. So we are tapping the rhythm now, and we are counting mentally. Go. 1, 2. No, you are not. This note that you are expressing now. This rhythm pattern you are expressing now does not require you to tap twice. It's once throughout that bar. That's what I was explaining initially. Okay, so let's go again. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, pam, pam, pam. Good. Go to the next one. Together, go. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1. Wait, is it making any sense? Do you want us to try that again, or we'll move to the next exercise? Okay, there are about 2 more, so we can just proceed to the next. Okay. Long time, sir. Okay, so come back now to this one. Together, go. The next line, go. No, take together, go. Try to read 1, 2 to one note, go. 1, 2, 1. Okay, you're right. Some of you are not observing rightly, but those who are missing are very few. So we can take it believing that you will develop on this when you go back. Okay, the last line. Together, go. Snap yourself. The next one. The last one. If you can read the sofa, the staff notes, easier for you, sir. So let's go. Go. The next line. Go. Now, it becomes easier for you when you begin to read these notes in patterns, not as individual notes. You understand? Now, we are moving away from reading to tone. But the tone we are looking at now is not the tone that is supposed to be discussed in the second paper. That one is a different tone entirely. That one is voice, which has to do with the quality of your singing. How is it that some people sing and it sounds beautifully, and some sing and it sounds horribly? That paper is going to address those things, if there will be time. Okay, so this second section is tonality. I'm talking about tonality as a principle in music, as what is called a sound map. Map, M-A-P, sound map. A map helps you to navigate. Isn't it? That's what a map is, representing geographical areas. And in today's world, the map goes beyond just representing geographical areas. It also guides you to be able to navigate, and move even to unknown terrains. That's what tonality is. It is very important for us to distinguish between tonality and tone. All that we're talking about, those tones we're singing, ta, 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 ta. These are tones, individual tones. But tonality is a system, of arrangement of tones musically in a particular way. That is what we are looking at. It's called a tone map. Because if you understand tonality, sight reading is finished. By the time you finish reading and you understand tonality, you will never have a problem sight reading. What is tonality? It is the musical system of organizing compositions around a central note or tonic, establishing a specific key. What I explained is the same thing. Look at this. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. It's there, you may call that. When I was in primary school, the last lesson every Friday was called music lesson. So, our teacher comes to class and he will teach us song. Each time he comes, we'll sing do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, do, ti, la, sol, fa, mi, re, do. And vocalize on it in different ways. Do, re, mi, fa, do, re, mi. We do all those things, and for us it was a song. And perhaps even to the teacher himself, he was teaching us songs. Until I grew up, I understood music, I discovered that there's more to this. It is not a song. It is an entire system of tonality that guides you to be able to identify tones, understand tones, internalize tones, and be able to express them in song. That's what it stands for. So each time you sing do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, if you understand what it is, you should not have a problem at all in reading a piece of music. And I think we'll try and see if we will do justice to it. The musical scale is derived from the Latin word scala, which is a ladder. And it is a step-by-step arrangement of tones. As you can see, it's a step-by-step arrangement. That's what it's supposed to be. And in staff, that is how tones are represented. Up, down, up, down. In solfa, it is horizontally. So you need to have extra understanding of tonality to be able to read solfa music. Now, we are talking about steps, 1 step, 2 steps, as it goes. So, what comes to your mind when you come to rehearsal and you vocalize on do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, sol, mi, do, la, sol, ti, do, la, la, la. All kinds of vocalises are used. Often, these vocalises are not targeted at anything. Those of you who render them don't even understand the implication. You are supposed to understand the distance between the notes. The distance between do and re. Do sounds this way. When do sounds, oh, what should re sound? Good. That is more important. Most singers focus their attention on the solfa names. The names are not important. Remove the names and replace them with the sounds that you derive from each of them. That is more important. So, for example, if I'm singing do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, ti, la, sol, fa, mi, re, do. What have I done? What have I done? I sang all of them, isn't it? But in terms of pronouncing the solfa names, I pronounced all of them. But in terms of sound, I sounded only one. The first one. Are we together? What if I sing this way? Do, 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 do. What have I done? I have rendered the right sounds across the scale. But I ended up pronouncing only the first degree of the scale. But this second thing I did is better. Because what is important about the musical scale is the sound, especially the sofa scale, is the sound. So how do you now derive the sound? When you sing do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, I beg you in God's name, drift your mind, shift your mind away from the names of those sofa notes. It will be better if you come and say la 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 or ta ta or oh, because it helps singers to focus their mind away from the sofa names. So what you should focus on is the sound that you derive. When you sound do and you go to mi, are the sounds the same? What is the difference? The other one is 2 steps higher. Now, if you want to, if you are here and you want to get this sound rightly based on the sound you produce here, knowing that this is a third, you then sing mentally. All the times you must come back to the scale. If you are here and the next note is this, don't just jump from here to here and sing anything that comes to your mind. Come back to the scale in that arrangement of do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. Now sing it. Do. The next note is sol. So how to get this sound from this? You now sing do, re, mi, fa, sol. So now you now know that if you are here, this one will be sounding what? Sol, not sol. Are we together? But how do you do it when you are doing this in sight reading and interpreting a song? What you do is you always come back to this, but you sing the notes in between the distance mentally. Sing them mentally. So you come back, you have do, and the next one is la. To get the sound of la, you consider mentally do. So you got do, la. By the time you continue to practice this over time, it will begin to come to you naturally. Are you following me? Everything about music is practice. You may have all the theory in your head. If you don't practice it, it will remain at the theoretical level. You must, everything about music is practice. Take it today. If you see someone plays the organ, it is practice. Another person may have all the scales, may look at it and visualize in his head, but to express it physically will be difficult until you practice. And the practice period is actually very slow. The same thing will apply here. As you are trying to understand sight reading and to understand musical tones, you must come back to the scale, sing it mentally at all times. When you become confused, you don't know what you are here, the note is red, the next one is sol, and you can't sound it. Quickly come back, do, re, mi, fa, sol, then you know that do, re, sol. And as you are putting into practice in sight reading, you sing the notes in between mentally. Remember this. Sing them in your head, and then quickly you go. Gradually, it will come naturally and you will stop singing unconsciously, without effort. You just find yourself doing away with that mental singing of the note in between the intervals. So let us run a brief exercise. For any note I touch, you are going to sound it. Please give us key key C. Okay, everybody. Oh. Now that note can be anything. That sound can be anything. If that sound, okay, apply that sound to this note. Make it me. So now run the scale from here. Mi, go. Mi. That's wrong fa. The distance between me and fa is just a semitone. Mi, fa. You raise the fa too much. Okay, come back to this again. Let's go. Mi, fa. Come back to this. Do, do. Okay, now sing it from here. Mi, fa, sol, la. There's nothing indicating for you to sustain. Just give it one beat as it is written. Again. Pam, 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 pam. Come down. Tila, sol, fa, mi. Can I have a stick here? Is there a small stick that I can use? A stick back. You have a baton? Or anything, any stick at all? Yeah, that's okay. This is fine. Sorry, I'll try and handle. Okay, so every note I touch, you are going to sound it based on the established tone. Do. Everybody sound this. Okay, so anyone I taught you sound, and follow me in that speed. No, red, just red. Sound it. Go. Do. No, this one. Do. Together, do. Go. Do. I want to hear everybody sit up straight. Don't sleep, please. Sit up straight, everybody. Okay, so let me hear this. Go. Good. Now, when you practice tonality to be able to apply it into sight reading, you practice in patterns. When you go back on your own now to practice, okay, thank you. So when you go back on your own, you are going to practice in patterns. So what are those patterns? First, note by note, step by step, up and down. Note that. The second one, you skip one note. Together. Do, mi, so. Oh. So when you skip them, it registers in your head too. The intervals of a third. Are you with me? Nobody does sight reading in one day. It doesn't come like that. There's a process. Are we together? So now you are skipping together. Then all of these are processes that you move, and then you go to a fourth together. Again. Some of you sounded la. That now that's correct. So that is how you are going to be practicing in patterns of 2-2, 3-3, skipping, fifths, fourths, like that. Are we together? The importance of scale in sight reading. I've already explained it, so I'm skipping it. But one, it establishes tonality. It gives you an idea of your home base. In the case of what we just did, the home base is what they do. Number two, it establishes interval recognition. It helps you to recognize intervals when you practice the scale. And you see those, in some cases, you will just see entirely exactly what you are practicing is represented in that progression in a song. So you just at a glance, you have, it's like you had practiced that song when you were training, when you were rehearsing. Do you understand? Number 3, it improves pitch accuracy. Number 4, it develops audiation. And this is very important. Audiation in music is the mental singing of a musical piece. What is called the mind's ear. If you study conducting, the conductor is described as one who hears the music in his mind's ear. That is, you see the music on paper without recourse to an instrument, you hear it. That is, if I pick a staff music and look at it now at a glance, I hear that music. That is the way if it is played physically, and that's how I hear it in my head. And so audiation helps you to be able to hear music sound inside your head, in your mind, without sounding it. Okay. So it supports software and staff integration. For those of you who have started music on software already, if you want to do stuff now, it will be very difficult for you. If you see a piece of music, as you are reading it, what comes to your mind is the sound, the software that's in your head. So it will be difficult to blank your mind to it. But it helps you in transcription. And also helps you in speeding up your reading. So, this is where I wanted to do that exercise that we did just now. But we have done it. When you have this material, you can even pick materials yourself and check online as well. Now, section C deals with the integration of tonality and reading. Now, we have treated these elements separately. For sight reading to take place, you must combine the elements. Are we together? So now let us see how to combine them. Of course, you know what I mean by combining them, isn't it? So I talked about the inner ears. Try to hear music in your mind before you start singing it, before you start sight reading. Phrasing is another important aspect of reading. In our choirs today, we don't phrase well. But phrasing is like taking a breath. You know, music also breathes. Even when you play an instrument, you need to phrase the instrument too, even when it is instrumental music. There's a way the notes are written, and you need to play and and observe the phrases. It becomes more colorful, more coordinated. So, the point where the music breathes, you take a breath, it also means that you don't just breathe anyhow. So let's look at this. Let's go straight to the software one. It's the same music that's written here in software. So you have la 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 la. That's what is written there. So, if you look at the structure of this piece of music, it tells you that you must render, this is called a phrase mark. And phrase marks are to be rendered in one breath. Wherever you find a phrase mark in music, you must render in one breath. Strike key G. Up to us a child is born. You have all of that is a phrase mark, and it has to be rendered in one breath. That is the idea of phrasing. Now let's pick this piece of music now and sing it together. There are only two phrase points, here and here. So Do. That's key G. Okay. Together, everybody. Do. Together, get ready, go. Do. Sing this thing. This one. Can you see it? Sit up straight, everybody, and sing. Let me hear you sound a key note. Go. Do. Okay, now sing it. Go. Do, do, re, mi, fa, mi. But you're not singing. I can't hear you. With this number, and I can't hear voice. What's the problem? Okay, but the number that I can see should give us more than what we are receiving. Okay, let's try it again. Everybody together, go. Do, do, re, mi, fa, mi, re. Take a breath now. Do, re, mi, so, la, so, fa, mi, re, do, do. Now, all the time as you sing, phrasing can be defined by the notes, the structure of the notes. It can also be defined by the text. Sometimes it is a text. The nature of the text is such that you can't breathe until you sing a certain passage to its end. So I'm going to skip the remaining part of, okay, the common errors, you can read them. I've talked about some of them already. So we are expected to do a guided practice by tapping count. We have tried it at a point, so I'm skipping it. You can do the exercises on your own. But combining the sounds and the tone and rhythm, I want us to take a look at this quickly, to combine them. So this time around, we are not expressing rhythm on the same note. We are moving from one tone to another, but also observing the rhythm pattern. Sorry, I had a transcribed version there. Oh, Benjamin.
This chairman Wenyima Unuluhea Kahayu Shanfele.
Okay, so let's look at this. This, I'm not sure you can see very well. But you have Do, Mi, Re. So if you can read here, fine. If you can't read, just manage what you can see. Okay, so let's run this together. Go. No, but look at the rhythm. What is that? These are half beats. I deliberately didn't put the punctuation here. Go. Pam, 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 pam. Do, re, ti, re, do, mi, do. Okay, let's take it again. Go. Pam, 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 pam. A breath. Do, re, ti, re, do, mi, do. Okay. Try the next one. Go. Do, mi, do. Go. Remember, you are reading ahead. Maybe I entered the music too quickly. You didn't go through it. Remember the steps. Together now, go. Do, mi, do, la, re, ti, do. Do, mi, so. Do, mi, so. What key is this? This is F. So, do, mi, so, ti. Okay. Ti, la, va, re, ti, do. So, this is application of rhythm and sound. Are we together? This here is just to give you an overview. On your own, you take time, you can sit and do it bit by bit and practice bit by bit by bit. We are going to put it into practical with this hymn. Okay, strike key D. This one works? Can you play this piece? Okay, everybody sound your keynotes wherever you're seated. according to your parts. Sound your keynote. Are you on D? D. Okay, hear the sound there. Give us organ. Organ. No strings. Give us pipe organ. Pipe organ. Okay, let me hear your keynote. You have already got the key. Together, everybody sound. Do, so. Everybody. 1, 2, 3, 4 means the time signature is 4 per major, isn't it? Okay. So if you are looking at them in groups, you see that from here to here, a similar thing seems to be repeated somewhere here, and there's a slight change here. And then something moves here, and this one to this one is the same. This is how you browse through the music to scan it before you start singing. Are we together? So can we sing now together? Go. Do, do, re, mi, fa, I can't hear the other parts. Again, everybody, sing it now with life. Go! We come to rehearsal and spend several schedules, 4 rehearsals singing solfa notes. That is not important. That's what happens. So our minds are tuned to vocalizing on solfa. If you sing solfa once, twice, it's enough for you to start applying the text to any music. Because what you do is sight reading. You are looking at both the text and the notes together. That's what you do. Try to sight read. So I can't come and run solfa for 1 hour and then start teaching the text. No. The solfa, the notes are just to remind you, give you an idea of the sound. As you are singing solfa notes, focus your mind on the sound that you derive from the music. Do you understand? Now you are singing this song. The text is there, is it? You sing the solfa once now, and we'll sing the text. As you are singing the text, remember you are reading ahead, and you are looking at both the text and the notes together. That's how you sight read. Okay, so you will see that you waste your time a lot. I picked a text that I know you'll be familiar with, but a tune that you may not necessarily be familiar with, so that it will be easier for you to sight read, looking at both the notes and the text. Now, the last one, very last one. Now, I'm looking at both the same tune, the same text. Now, a familiar tune. Play B flat. Remove that thing that is dragging the music. There's something at the background that, like pad. Just give us organ. B flat. Pick your key notes. So, mi, do, da. So get ready. Stand up, everybody. Standing, can you still see me? I'm very tall. Okay. Okay, so let's go. Pam, pam, pam. Pam, 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 pam. So, la, so, mi, do, la, so. Do, re, mi, re, do, ti, do. Ti, do, re, re, ti, so, do. Ti, do, re, re, ti, so, do. So, la, so. As you are singing the text, look at the notes so that you get the progression, the 3 quarter beats. Myself indeed. That's not correct. You already altered some of the beat patterns. Take it again. As you are reading the text, look at it and the notes in your part. Go. Rock of ages, slept for me. Let me hide myself in thee. Let the water from the Please sit down. So how do you apply this to church music? You read it on your own. Thank you for listening.